When people ask me, well, what am I going to get from the Path to Publishing Act Like an Author, Think Like a Business conference? I humbly say, your literary life. No, seriously. But a lot of times, when I talk to my literary consulting clients, some are regular clients, they have monthly packages, and some authors will just call me up to talk for an hour. They'll just pay for a literary consulting call for an hour. And I honestly feel like within that hour, I'm able to give them their literary life, which means I'm able to breathe something fresh into something they already have. They just needed, a little direction. So I like to say at this conference, you're going to get your literary life. It's all going to start to make sense. And I believe that the greatest aha moment a person can ever have is when their life begins to make sense. Our life's journey is in the message we produce in our written words. And I want it all to make sense. I want it to make sense to you. What else will you get at the Path to Publishing Act Like an Author, Think Like a Business 2018 conference? Well, you're going to get the most amazing, life-changing, life-altering, business-building curriculum ever. This is what I guarantee. I love guarantees. And I never make these guarantees or try to say things about myself to seem arrogant or to seem like I'm bragging. But there's a quote, and I actually have it on one of the slides in the curriculum, but it ain't bragging if you can back it up. And with almost 20 years experience in the literary industry, I can back it up. But the curriculum is amazing nonetheless. It's not just bullet points. It's not just checklists. It's not just how-tos. It's resources. It's not just you need to do this. It's this is where you go to do this. No, I don't want you searching and Googling. I've done that already. I've done that already. It just goes back to me not letting you crawl. You're not going to crawl under my watch. I've crawled. I've spent the hours doing the research, finding what it takes to not just be able to compete with every other book on the bookshelf, especially indie authors. I know you try so hard for your book to compete with the traditionally published books on the shelf. You want to make sure it can stand up next to them. And no one can tell the self-published book from the traditionally published book. But it takes more than your book just being able to stand up against the traditionally published book on the bookshelf. After all, I don't know about you, but yeah, it's great to get your book on the bookshelf. But my goal is to get it off the bookshelf and into the hands of the consumer. Now, once that book is off the bookshelf, can it still stand up against the traditionally published book? Did you take the same steps with your indie book, with your traditionally published book, that a publishing house took with their author's book? Did you follow the same steps? Did you do your galley copies? Did you have beta readers look at the book? What about reviewers? It's one thing for your book to be able to stand up against the traditionally published book on the bookshelf. But what about when it's off the shelf? What are you doing to keep your book moving? Because if your book's not moving, then that means you're not moving in the right direction. And that is what we want to do for you here at the Path to Publishing Act Like an Author, Think Like a Business conference. We want to make sure that not only do you get on the right path to publishing for you, but that you stay on it and that you keep moving until you reach your literary destination, which is meeting your literary goals, reaching literary success, what you deem as literary success.